Mint shortages further put pressure on the supply of silver amid high demand. Everyone wants a slice of the silver pie, but in reality, there's just not much pie left. Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, folks. I put together a great video today. I really hope you watch this all the way through because we got some deep stuff to talk about later on. We're going to be covering an article posted by someone from Monetary Metals talking about these mint shortages and how it's just getting worse and worse. And by the way, if you are someone that frequents my channel, you might have heard that I was a special guest on the Rich Dad Radio Show, hosted by Robert Kiyosaki, the famous author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. It went amazing. I was extremely nervous leading up to it, but as soon as that interview started, a light clicked on and I was locked in. It was incredible. Hopefully the podcast slash radio show will be out soon. I'm pretty sure it was live as well, like on the radio. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, the video on his YouTube channel should be out shortly, and I'll keep you guys posted. It was a lot of fun, though. So yeah, link to this article will be in the description. In August, demand for bullion had slacked a bit from the frenetic pace set over the past 2 years, but buyers came back with a vengeance during September, and inventories of the most popular products are showing the strain. Premiums are back on the rise and delivery delays have returned for many items, with silver inventories being hardest hit. Money metals' weaker competitors are especially struggling. And yeah, I mean, if you don't have a direct source to a big dealer, you are screwed, to say the least. We've known since 2020 that mints are having an extremely hard time finding silver planches to make their products. U.S. Mint being the first to come out and admit it, but then the Perth Mint and the Royal Mint also came out and said, yeah, we're in the same boat. Royal Mint is even recycling cell phones and laptops to try to keep up with the demand a little bit. But even more so than just these mints, think about the dealers like they mentioned. The weaker competitors are especially getting hit hard. They're struggling. Even local coin shops. The U.S. Mint cut off public access buying from them. Nobody can buy from the U.S. Mint, only a few authorized dealers. I can offer you a direct personal relationship with one of those authorized dealers. All you got to do is send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. That company is one of the few authorized dealers that can still purchase through and work with the U.S. Mint. So building a relationship with them is going to be extremely beneficial. Extremely beneficial. APMEX, these other companies, dealers, they can't buy from the U.S. Mint anymore. And looking at the shortages, this could be critical to your strategy, or even just, building relationships regardless. And instead of buying from some third-party site online, you don't know who's behind that screen filling the order. You could trust a company like that. People are spending by millions of dollars of silver through that company. Nobody's going to buy $1 million worth of silver with APMEX. See what I'm saying? This company is extremely beneficial. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy Scheckman's the CEO. Great guy. They've never had a negative complaint in over 40 years, and there's a reason why, because they are extremely professional. I've been getting a lot of positive reviews from you guys, buying from them, sending me emails saying they were so professional, great company. They'll also match any price lower than theirs, so you literally cannot buy silver from a lower place than them, because if there's another price lower, send them the link or screenshot, and they will match that price. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you, though. Andy would love to hear it. So anyways, as buyers turn away from higher-priced silver coins, talking about the problematic Silver Eagle, 1-ounce silver rounds and bars of various sizes are now experiencing supply issues. And that's only to be expected. It wasn't just the U.S. Mint that everyone was buying from, and now all of a sudden, silver is going to be flooded across the market. Guess what? They just started buying new types of silver. And yes, new types, because the US Mint was by far the most popular. They sold 5 million ounces the first month of January 2022. 5 million the first month. To put things into perspective, the US Mint usually produces around 13 million ounces annually in an entire year, and they sold 5 million just January alone. But as time went on, my theory seemed to be correct as people are starting to turn their backs on Eagles because of the extremely high premiums. And now nobody's buying Eagles, and mainly people are buying Britannias or Sunshine Mint rounds. Even bars, 10-ounce generic bars. It's also a great purchase. So anyways, the major constraint once again is the capacity of mints and refiners to produce retail bullion products. While demand for 1,000-ounce silver bars also appears strong, premiums for those large bars are holding steady. And of course, bigger bang for your buck. If 1,000-ounce bar premiums rise, it would be signaling a true shortage of silver. For now, though, the shortage is in the fabrication capacity of mints and refiners who convert large bars into smaller products. I could disagree with that, because that means this guy's saying that if it's just in the coins where premiums are, through the roof, then the silver shortage is entirely a myth and based only off the investment sector. But what about the industrial sector? I mean, you can't just look at, and I hate when people do this, they look at the silver shortage only from the investment point of view. But silver is mainly an industrial metal. We exceeded 1.112 billion ounces, while the US Mint is selling 13 million ounces annually. 1 billion compared to 13 million. The industrial sector is where the true shortage lies, and that's the most worrying one, because that's talking about all of the silver, not just a hair of what silver is really being used for. Yes, it's used for coins and bars, but it's mainly used for electric vehicles and solar panels, right? Mainly gold. See, if this was with gold, then yes, the story would be true for a shortage, because gold is mainly used for coins and bars and jewelry. But that's not the case with silver. So to say that the shortage is a fabrication of the capacity is wrong. Maybe when you're looking at it from the perspective of these mints trying to find silver planchets, as there's less and less in stock, the US Mint's in a completely different category than these other mints, because the US Mint can only pay spot price to buy from these mints, which mainly is coming from the Sunshine Mint. Sunshine Mint supplies the US Mint their silver planchets, but the Sunshine Mint can sell their inventory much higher than above spot price to other mints, and they do so because other mints don't have the law that the US Mint has, that can only keep them buying silver planchets at spot price. Why would Sunshine Mint want to sell to the US Mint when that means that they're only going to get paid spot price for their inventory, when they can go sell to the Perth Mint and get paid $3, $4, $5 above spot? That's why the US Mint is having such a hard time. But even more so beyond that, let's say Perth Mint, which they are having an easier time acquiring silver, their inventory is still being bought up by everyone that wants a slice of the silver pie. Or let's look at the COMEX and the LBMA vaults that are being emptied because everyone else is turning their contracts into physical delivery. You see what's happening? The paper supply of silver versus the physical supply is starting to crumble. And once that happens, who knows what silver's price could do. The pressure on premiums has been driven, at least in part, by the US Mint. Despite its obligation to produce coins in quantities sufficient to meet public demand, the Mint has done nothing to increase supply. And yes, they had a congressional complaint a couple weeks ago, and what can they do to increase supply if nobody's selling to them? What can they do? It's not even the US Mint's fault, it's the US government's fault, the Federal Reserve's fault. The US government is the one that has that law in place that isn't allowing the US Mint to pay above spot. Or you could blame Sunshine Mint for not selling to the US Mint, even though they'd be missing out on a boatload of money. But still, help the US Mint out. Even though you're losing money, just still sell to them. Sunshine Mint's like, nope, I'd rather go sell to the Royal Mint or the Perth Mint or somewhere else where I can get way above spot price. US government isn't just gonna change the law because we're trying to hold down interest rates on our own $30 trillion of debt. So that law that the US Mint has isn't just gonna vanish overnight and premiums can go back down. It's looking like Eagles premiums are going to stay through the roof. And they actually cancel. I mean, we're talking about potentially cutting off Eagles for good. The situation has to end somewhere. This problem isn't going to be magically fixed in the coming months or years, or at least the next couple of years. So, do you think they're just going to allow this crap show to just keep? No, something would have to happen, and what would have to happen is they stop producing Eagles, unfortunately. Or, I mean, they've already tried to cut down the amount. They put a very low mintage cap on the Type 1 and Type 2 Eagles in 2021. They canceled the 2022 Morgan and Silver Peace dollars. I mean, they are taking every road possible to try to come up with more silver, or at least meet the demand. As the law states, this was actually from one of the codes, or one of the things they're in violation of, was the secretary shall supply sufficient qualities or quantities to meet public demand, but then also goes into the secretary shall not pay more than the LBMA spot price at the time of the purchase, which means that they have to pay spot. And that's why no one wants to sell to them. But anyways, demand for bullion spiked 2.5 years ago. Private mints and refiners have been steadily growing capacity, but the U.S. Mint is manufacturing excuses instead. It's not an excuse. They have a law. And this is why, and then they go into the congressional complaint. This is why I wish people would do their research. It is not their fault. They get their silver from Sunshine Mint. Sunshine Mint won't sell to them. So whose fault is that? Yes, you could say it's their fault because they started outsourcing all their silver, relying completely on the Sunshine Mint. You could say that you guys should have kept producing your silver in-house. But the reason they stopped producing in-house was because that was around 2011 when they were producing 30 to 40 million ounces annually. That's what their annual supply of Eagles were, 30, 40 million. So instead, they said, let's outsource our silver, because keeping up with this type of a demand it's doing more harm than good. So let's outsource it so we could focus on making the Eagles instead of having to make the silver planchets to stamp them. And that's why they started outsourcing it. But unfortunately, they don't have the crew and the equipment to just randomly start producing silver in-house again. So they're in a very tight spot. They're basically, at the mercy of Sunshine Mint or the U.S. government fixing the law so they could pay higher prices. It's not the U.S. Mint's fault right now. They can make excuses if you're trying to say an excuse is covering it up or not being completely honest. But the truth did come out, and it's funny that a YouTuber has to be the one to expose what's really going on when you have someone from Monetary Metals writing this article, or even in the Congressional complaint they didn't understand that. You got me, just a silver stacking YouTube channel with 60,000 subscribers, giving answers to Congress, answering questions for the U.S. Mint that Congress is asking them. We live in a crazy world. Or maybe it's just because I do my homework and other people don't. Anyways, this is some of the Congressional complaint. And by the way, this is another funny part. Private mints and refiners have been steadily growing capacity. That's because they can pay above spot price, so people are going to sell to them. The U.S. Mint making excuses, it's not an excuse, that's a fact. Now, Congressman Alex Mooney sent a terse letter to the Mint director just over a month ago, and that's what I was covering. The Congressional complaint blamed the global situation, and that's not even really true. She blamed the global situation on the vendors who supply blanks. I don't know why they're using that as an excuse when the real truth is that they have a law that doesn't allow them to pay above spot. It's crazy. I mean, even the U.S. Mint isn't telling the truth. When if they told the truth, it'd be a lot. They'd probably be a lot better off. Or maybe they don't want to put pressure because then the U.S. government would be exposed of trying to fix the price for their own reasons, which is because we're broke and we're in debt. The U.S. Mint's response letter was predictably long on excuses and short on solutions. There is no solution to the problem. And like Patrick Heller said, the guy that exposed this, where I got a lot of this information from in my research, he said that, as long as the US government is in this debt hole throwing trillions of dollars away, there's no possibility that they're going to fix this law when we're trying to hold down interest rates on our own $30 trillion. So anyways, the top U.S. Mint bureaucrat says she hopes to add some new vendors who can produce blanks rather than gearing up to produce blanks in-house. Yeah, they don't have the equipment or personnel to do so anymore. There was no mention of plans to dramatically increase inventories during periods when demand is slower. That's what they probably did in 2020 when they literally ran out of silver. So they made that 1 million mintage emergency supply from the end of the year by the San Francisco Mint. That was probably their some of their emergency stash. But there's also another theory that the U.S. Mint does have silver, but they know it's coming, so they're just keeping it to themselves because what is real money in times of war, economic uncertainty, crisis is precious metals. But anyways, regardless, that's what's happening on the forefront of things, on the water, and it's crazy that it has to be me to tell these people this. The U.S. Mint can't even speak for themselves. Until and unless the U.S. Mint gets its act together, it remains wise to avoid the extraordinary high premiums that come with eagles, and even consider selling silver eagles. Oh my God! Now they're trying to plug this stuff in. No, I hate when they do this. And now you should sell it, and they'll just just real easily slide in the plug to where you should sell to. Anyways. Oh, and there they go. Now they're plugging vaults. And yeah, okay, I'm done with this article. Maybe that was, who knows? Okay, I get your point. Anyways, regardless, the truth is that one, U.S. Mint is screwed. Two, Eagles premiums aren't going anywhere. And three, you could do what you want. There's no wrong way. You could buy generic rounds and bars. Or, if you do want silver made in America, backed by the United States of America, which could be actually a very beneficial or secure way to protect your stack, since we're talking about a lot of, I don't even want to go into it. It's not even a conspiracy. It's other countries joining forces, allying against the United States, and why eagles and junk silver, constitutional silver, might actually be something that's a lot safer than silver made from another country. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of different ways you could venture into this strategy. And I've never seen a silver stacking, because I've been making videos for years. I've been talking about my strategy. I don't like to give personal strategies because I don't know what your financial situation's like. I don't know how much silver you have. I don't know your exit strategy. But, I could recommend, this is the best way, or this is what I would do if I was a beginner right now, yada, yada. Right now, the strategy is so up in air, and it is going to twist and turn a lot. You have to be willing to adjust and adapt. If you're stuck in your ways, you're probably going to be putting yourself in a very, very sticky situation coming soon. You can't buy silver just aimlessly buying it. That's why we call it a strategy. It's a silver stacking strategy. We're strategizing. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you liked it. Please like the video. Please send an email if you want to buy silver from a trusted dealer that still has a connection with the U.S. Mint, as the U.S. Mint basically banned everyone else from buying from them. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Like I said, they will match any price lower than theirs. So you literally cannot buy silver from anywhere lower than them, because if it is lower than them, they'll also sell to you at that price. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.